I'm Marc Stevens, author of Government Indicted and the host of the No State Project Live every Saturday from 4 to 7 Eastern Standard Time on the Liberty Radio Network. And we have another success story, we got pretty much unredacted. I want to thank Kevin for not only standing up to the man, but giving me the evidence that we can now post. Again, it's Superior Court, State of California in Orange County, and this is traffic, but he was looking at some jail time. When you see here on the document, he filed the demur, filed the motion, the request for judicial notice, the discovery request, which was pretty much ignored, and also filed a motion in limine. Now, motion in limine is a procedural tool to keep somebody from making an argument when they don't have any evidence or it's not appropriate. And so the motion in limine that we have is because they don't have a shred of evidence to prove that their laws apply just because Kevin or me or anyone is physically in California. They shouldn't be able to argue that the laws apply in the first place. And so if you can't argue that the laws apply and you have no evidence to show that they do apply, then you have no business being able to argue that they were violated because, well, the logic dictates you have to prove first that the laws apply, then you can prove that the law or the rule was violated. So from the email that we have from Kevin, and this is also shown in the document, he says, went back to court today. They sent me to another courtroom to go over my motions. The judge got pissed over me questioning jurisdiction and denied everything. And he puts in the document that supposedly the request for judicial notice wasn't appropriate. It is appropriate because you're just trying to get the judge to take judicial notice and acknowledge the law and the facts that it's supposed to be an adversarial proceeding. But they don't want to admit that it's an adversarial proceeding in the middle of a court proceeding where there is no true adversary. So they just deny it. They always do. So he said he even tried to offer reducing the misdemeanor to an infraction, but I kindly refused and said, I would like to accept your kind offer, but I don't want to admit guilt to a crime that I don't think that I'm a party to. They conveniently forgot to go over the Brady request. Then he sent me back to the other courtroom. I was thinking to myself that I'm just going to have to keep asking for proof of jurisdiction, but as soon as I got back to the courtroom, the prosecutor came over to me saying he was going to dismiss the case. The judge called me back and said, case dismissed, so I asked for a copy showing the dismissal, which we have, we have up here, and that they gave the court, and they gave me the court minutes before I left. He says, I'll scan everything tomorrow and send it over. I'm so pumped that they went from offering me a deal of 10 days in jail to dismissing it outright, and I want to thank him for doing that. So yes, he was looking at jail time. The deal that they did offer was jail, and this is for traffic. So he just kept on hitting at the prosecution's burden of proof. So again, some may say, critics will try to dismiss this and say, well, the judge obviously did deny all the motions without explanation, other than to say that it was inappropriate, which I've just covered that it absolutely is. It may turn around and say that, yes, all your stuff, all the things that you put in there, the demur, and yes, it was denied because there's no merit whatsoever, and that the only reason why the prosecutor withdrew was because he didn't want to be bothered. Now, let's examine that for a second. He didn't want to be bothered going through the trial, which would have taken, in a traffic situation, would have taken all of about 15 minutes, especially considering that the judge had nothing but contempt for Kevin, it seems. He was pissed off, didn't like that he was being challenged. The prosecutor knew he had he had to have figured that since the judge was already denying everything, that it was well worth the 15, 20 minutes to go through a trial to get another conviction. I think it was it's clear the reason why he withdrew was because he didn't have the evidence, knowing that if he did go to trial, that Kevin would be putting the police officer on the stand and, cross-examining him and having it come out that there wasn't a shred of evidence to support the police officer's allegation or his opinion that just because Kevin was physically in California, that the rules of politicians actually apply. So, big congratulations, and I appreciate Kevin for allowing me to put this up pretty much unredacted. So that's great. Just another example of standing up to the man. And even if we say that we say, look, that it had nothing to do with anything that I presented, had nothing to do with Kevin adamantly challenging the evidence to prove jurisdiction. This is just another example then of why it is so important just to refuse to take the deal and challenge them every single step of the way. Every single step of the way, challenge him on that burden of proof. So even if we take everything that I helped him with and we took everything that he did and took it completely off the table, had nothing to do with it, it's still worth going and challenging them every step of the way just because they may not want to take it to trial and will throw it out. So, again, congratulations. If you disagree, if you think that there is evidence and the police officer would be able to present evidence on the stand, making Kevin look like an idiot, that he does have evidence proving that just because he's physically in California that the rules of politicians apply to them, then, hey, join us on a live broadcast here on the No Say Project, live every Saturday from 4 to 7 Eastern Standard Time on LRN.FM. And you can also post your evidence at markstevens.net.